So how was your VA there? You said Arizona area? Do I have that correct?
Yeah, so as far as the VA goes, I think a lot of us really knocked them maybe too hard. And I think we should acknowledge all of the good that they do. And all of the good that they do, as far as I can tell, VA health I'm talking about. Now, the claims people, I'm glad they saw the light. But the VA health care side, the nicest thing I can say about those people is that it is a great jobs program for unemployable people that wouldn't be able to find a damn job anywhere because they're worthless. But aside from that, they serve a purpose, I guess.
Well, so here in Iowa, a couple weeks back, and I gave kudos to them. I was pretty pissed off because my particular appointment ran behind, and I kind of explained myself. I was in there because I had asked for an increase in pain medication. That's what brought me to. I was talking to a pharmacist. I was talking to a therapist. I was talking to an ARPN, and I was talking to an RN. And then there was a student in there, all very nice people. I said, are any of you vets? And none of them were vets, which that's fine. I said, here's what I was exposed to. I'm a Gulf War vet. And I don't know if I necessarily educated them. I tried to a little bit because I started off, I was pretty pissed off because I was late for the appointment. But here in the state of Iowa, I mean, we all make mistakes. VA is enormous. And there are here in Iowa, and I know down in Texas where Kevin at, we have had a lot of, I have a lot of good people I've worked with. I can sit here and badmouth people, but honestly, in my case here in the state of Iowa, for the vast majority of the time, the people that I go and see are great. They listen to me and they want an explanation and they give me good feedback. I mean, like you said, Erin and Kevin and I and Wade and Sarah, we all know that the professionals, they're treating our symptoms because they don't know. The only thing they know is what we tell them, what they read in the handbook. And I know that Kevin's wife's an RN now, and she was educated on it. But you can only empathize. They don't really know until we tell them, here's what's going on. Here's my worst case scenario. Treat that and let's move forward.
And that's just it. But it's got to be the worst case scenario to get treated. So that way they can put more stuff inside of our bodies. It's really true. And I mean, it is. It's just one thing about it. But like here where I live down around Houston area, like my clinic, my doctor's great. I like her. My primary care physician, I really like her. And, but all my doctors are nurse practitioners that are still practicing. So they don't learn anything about the Gulf War. They don't learn anything about veteran stuff. That's the problem. They're just learning practicing medicine. They're learning on, just like I said, y'all just see what I said? Practicing medicine.
Right.
And it's right. Slap a Band-Aid right up on my head and say, hey, good job, Kevin. Hey, we'll see you in 6 months. But the one thing I will say is I do believe, and I know I'm going to get a lot of slack for this, so I'm kind of about to say this, but we as veterans need to help them educate. We need to tell them, wait a second, go listen to my podcast. I tell my doctors, go listen to it. Listen what these guys are telling you. Sarin gas, mustard gas, P-tabs, anthrax shot, that kind of stuff. And they should be asking the veteran community, hey guys, what do y'all need from us, instead of asking the politicians, what do the VA guys need? Because them politicians ain't been to war. Them politicians ain't going to go out there where chemical warfare is. I mean, it's just put out there.
And a lot of the physicians, they are genuinely, at least the people that I talk to, and now, like I said, I was frustrated, but they listened to me and were interested. I even gave them some physicians' names that had given us some good information. They're looking up on their computers and typing stuff down. And so they're genuinely interested. because they're learning from us. I said, I can't tell you what the hell's going on in my body. Here's what hurts like hell. Help me with that. And, like, for example, I was like, my gut always hurts. What can we do with that? And then the pharmacist gave me an explanation. And I said, but what about the side effects? And he said, well, there are a fair amount of side effects that I don't want to mess with it. I got enough issues,
Right.
so
Yeah.
I'll just tolerate the current condition today as we speak. So they want to know. You have to educate them because they just don't know.
But this is the problem I have, John. And I'm not talking about Ross Camp. I'm not talking about I think it's Nova. I'm not talking about Dr. Glum's when we had her on here. I actually really truly I don't know if you heard it, Sarge. If you heard that she's actually doing a study on why all VAs are different. Why aren't they the exact same? And I mean,
I didn't even see that one until earlier today, and I didn't have time to watch it because that one just uploaded yesterday, I think.
Man, go in and listen to her. And I am telling you,
I need to catch that
110%. I liked what she had to say. But like we had Dr. Gard Nicholson on, who actually has a product that can help the veterans, the NT factor. But there's a lot of researchers, they come out and say, oh, yeah, we're doing the research, but what's the medicine to treat it? That's what we need to get to. If we were exposed to sarin gas, give me the medicine to offset sarin gas. If that's what you say I was exposed to. Mustard gas, give me what offsets it. If you have to combine a pill of all 28 million things that they gave us veterans out there to offset that shit. How difficult is that? Look.
I would think super difficult, but
as I tell everybody, I feel like they signed my death certificate a lot earlier than what I'm going to be. So I want this to be an educational thing. I want this to reach out to the younger generations to watch this years and years and decades to go, you know what? No. We're not going to be like World War I, World War II. World War II was the greatest generation of them all, so I'm going to skip over that. Everybody needs to be like World War II. The Korean War, Vietnam War, Desert Storm, the Iraqi freedom, all the way up to Afghanistan. We need to change how things are ran to take care of the vets. That's just what needs to be done.
And it sounds like you, Aaron, it sounds like you had a doctor. It was down in Miami, you said? Or was it up in...
So Miami is where I went, where Boston University was doing the study.
Okay.
So it was at the VA facility, but the person I dealt with, she wasn't an actual VA employee. She was actually contracted by Boston University.
Okay.
So that wasn't bad. As far as actual care, the last time, again, I went to get registered and I got some physical in 2014 or 2015. But to me, the VA is not a place you would go for care unless you've got no other option, and then you're going to get shit on. So I can't even tell you for a fact that the VA healthcare system is bad, although some other people could, because they had the big hit national headlines, 4 or 5 years ago. They had a big shakeup there. But
look at
I'm just at the point now where I'm not going to drop the soap again and get re-raped. So for the rest of my life, I'm not going to the VA for health care because I don't trust them. Even if they change, I won't know the difference because I'm not going there.
So you don't use the VA health care at all, or do you use care in the community?
No, screw
TRICARE, probably.
No, I don't have TRICARE anymore since I retired from the reserves last year. I could have continued it under Cobra, but it just $1,100-1,200 a month. It was great coverage, but
right.
I wasn't going to use it anyway because to me it's not worth putting on a mask for anything. So they're all getting stupid with that. But Where I have had some great results, by the way, I had headaches. They were starting to get even worse in 2021. And I'm sure you guys can relate. Sometimes the headaches are just unreal. So I've got a friend that's actually, I know from the Army Reserve, that is a doctor of Oriental medicine. He's an American guy, retired first sergeant now. He has helped me immensely. I think by the first or second visits through acupuncture, which I guess even the VA has done some studies on the acupuncture, helping our group. It really helped a lot with a lot of the symptoms. And the headaches were just getting unbearable. It was getting hard to drive with the headaches. And
well, Eastern medicine is coming around. And really, truly, it really is. And I mean, the medicine that I put inside my body, I couldn't even tell you what it's probably going to do to me in the next 5 years. I'll probably walk around, my arm will start doing this shit and all that shit again. Then another time,
Well,
but it's true.
That's the other thing. I see a lot of older people that just, you go to their house and they've got like 12 different bottles of pills on the table. And I'm like,
dude,
why?
That's right.
What do you need all that shit for?
Right. I mean, well, one's probably to poop, one's for not pooping, one's for heart medicine, one's for liver function, one's for kidney function, one's for this. It's like, golly, man.
And the last 2 or 3 are to counteract all the side effects from the first 9.
Right. And the thing about it is you got to go buy one of the machines. They're called the hero machines that spit your medicine out and tells you what time to take them. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, great product, by the way. I don't do it, but I mean, we had one for my father-in-law because that's how we could time it. But all the stuff that there's there when there could be so much simpler stuff.
Yeah.
So much simpler stuff out there. And that's what we are exploring.
Yes, absolutely. Simpler is way better. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm telling you that I work behind a barber chair. I cut hair. And the doctors are even surprised I'm walking. Out of 8, I'm an 8 when it comes to neuropathy. And that's a very bad case. My skin was coming off and all this stuff. And I mean, I would tell my wife, you really need to hurry up and get with nursing school because, man, I don't know how much longer I can stand behind this barber chair. I mean, I would have to lean on my customers, lift one leg up and cut hair days. I mean, that's how much pain I was in. But now, 1 month, no pain. It doesn't mean my neuropathy is not there.
Right.
But it means I'm out of pain. I mean, I feel like I'm 40 now. That's the honest to God truth. I feel like I am 40. And the more research I'm doing on this, because before I say anything on a podcast, before I do anything, I want to make sure everything's 110% squared away. Because I don't want the vets to go out and do anything that I tell them to do. And then I get about 500 vets coming to my house and whoop my ass because I'm a Navy guy. All right.
We're gonna make, we definitely, Kevin and I would never suggest anything that we haven't tried ourselves, or if it doesn't work, we're going to tell you it doesn't work. If it does work, we're going to tell you how good and, express,
and the bad thing ourselves. Is, like a lot of people believe in like CBD. So let's all take CBD for a second. Everybody, it is a good product. I believe it's a good product. But my problem is I couldn't remember if I put the droplets in the morning or if I put them in the evening. I couldn't remember because of the brain fog. Right? So remembering to do this stuff is a problem. And most, I would probably estimate 85% of Desert Storm veterans have brain fog. I'm going to say probably 70% have is some type of tremors or Parkinson's or something like that. I'm going to say out of the neuropathy, I'm going to go with our nerve, any type of nerve damage with fibromyalgia, because it's basically almost the same thing. Anybody wants to argue with me? My mom's had it since 1995. They used to think fibromyalgia used to be not but mental, but then they found out it was between the muscles and the nerves and how they got it. So I know a lot about fibromyalgia. It's a lot like neuropathy, neurological. It messes you up. It's one thing. And so I would probably say 60% of us have neurological disorders. Okay.
What
IBS,
would you
95%.
what would you
Digestive
say,
system.
Aaron? What do you suffer from the most, Aaron? If you had to pick one.
Well, the one that's the easiest to see, obviously, is the GI issues. I mean, 32 years straight with that. So that's the most obvious. Some of the brain fog. Although sometimes I get a little relief from that. Like I said, I go and see Dr. Oscar, and we're getting the acupuncture once or twice a month, and various herbs he's had me take, herbal supplements to detoxify, that kind of thing. So sometimes that seems to help at the time, but probably the fatigue. I would actually have to say fatigue more than the brain fog. It's just not as noticeable as the GI issues, because you go and punish some porcelain, everybody in the house knows that you violated that stuff. They know it's coming out your backside.
99, I would say 99% of vets have chronic fatigue.
Oh yeah.
But the fatigue sometimes,
it's bad.
early on in the marriage, the wife might think you're just being a lazy slug, and it's like, you don't understand. I'm trying to get up and move. I'm just, I'm tired. I don't have that motivation.
Yeah.
And it's
my yawn.
Yeah.
Son bitch, John.
Sorry, man.
But I never knew that when somebody yawned on camera that you can literally do that. I just learned that recently, and I'm just like, son of a gun, stop yawning.
Sorry,
but you're right. The chronic fatigue, to me, is just as bad as neuropathy, if not worse, because it makes you feel lazy. It makes you feel useless. And
you can't move. It's like you have to talk to yourself to get up and move, and even half the time that don't work.
Well, and it makes you depressed. It's like I want to get up and help, but I can't because I'm so tired. Me, I'm a bubbly little son of a gun. So even with the fatigue, I didn't let it stop me. I'm telling you, I would wake up in the morning, Sarge. I'm telling you, and I keep calling you that name, but I will not tell anybody why. But anyway, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But anyway, there's a reason for it, everybody. So we got a special relationship. All right. Anyway, and no, not the Navy way, because I know he's going to say that. That's why I'm not looking at the camera at him. No, but when I would get up, this would be my routine. I would get up, and I first would have to balance myself because my whole legs and everything just numb. And then I would have to shake them a little bit, go into the bathroom, brush my teeth, do all that stuff, take my medicine. And it's the numbness. As soon as it kind of wore out, I could be able to start moving this and this. But I would always tell myself, no matter what, this ain't going to stop me. I'm going to beat it. And just to let everybody know, I know we talked about I'm feeling better and everything, but let me tell y'all about my numbness. So I would cut hair. I would drop my clippers. I had to buy 2 brand new pair of clippers in 3 months because I drop them. Because they just fall in my hand. I can't feel them. Or I dropped the comb. Could you imagine people's haircuts? They look like y'all's. God, I hope none of my customers are watching this shit. But anyway, one day, what I'm doing right now, I have no numbness. None. It's gone. It's out. It's out. I mean, so this is why I'm so excited, And I mean, I am. I feel like what this could do for the Gulf War family around and around, because I'm experimenting on people. I've spent probably close to over $1,000 to test what I'm doing. My mom, fibromyalgia since 1995, had her fused spine. Hooks came out of her back, scraping her back. Damaged so much nerves and muscle tissue. Muscle tissue. I don't know how to say it. I'm not a damn doctor. I probably should ask my wife before I said that. Well, anyway, she now can move her neck. She now can. She's stiff, but her pain is like so far under control that it's given her a feeling of a new life. I mean, every day we talked, it gets better and better and better and better. So the girl that sits next to me in a chair, same thing with her. But her problem was the medication gave her brain fog. It's gone. The brain fog is gone. This is why I'm telling everybody this, is because when we release this, I'm telling y'all, this is my testimony. This is what I'm telling you. And I will have others who will, because I want test dummies that are my family. And I hope they don't hear this, because they already got mad at me for calling them test dummies. But John is going to be trying the product soon. He's going to be testing it out. Wade also. And Pete and Christy, she was on last week.
Okay.
In the first 10 to 15 minutes, her husband was completely pain-free. Now, you tell me that. You sit there and tell me out of 20 to 30 years that man has not been pain-free. I literally almost started crying. I was more happy about him than I was for my damn self. So this is why I'm bringing this up to y'all. This is important because this will be Eastern medicine. It is not Western well, technically, it's more like Eastern. It's a good thing. But Sarge, I want to get back to jump on you on something, because how many years did you spend in the military total?
So I racked up a total of almost 25 years spread over 35 years. I had 2 breaks in service. And I'll tell you, even doing my last PT test last year, it's the new PT test. It was only diagnostic, but as a 52-year-old man doing the new ACFT, man, I was glad I was getting out.
Did you get to hold up a card and say, hey, I need a break?
I wish. No, if you're in, you still have to meet standard. And I pushed myself. Now, I was never a PT stud all those years either. And I even failed several PT tests over the years.
What's PT?
Anyone that knows me will know that. So I'm not going to hide that and act like I was some kind of workout guy. But, I would squeak by bare minimum because, again, I've got challenges here because, my body is tired. My recovery time always sucked. From 1991 onward, my recovery time, like if I did anything physical, it took me 2 or 3 times longer to recover than somebody to my right or my left.
So humor me, Erin. It used to be, and I know it's changed. It used to be the 2-mile run, the push-ups and sit-ups, and now they added pull-ups?
Oh man.
I don't know what today's PT test. So PT is physical training test.
I know what it means. I was just kidding.
I thought you said you didn't know what it was.
No, I was like, well, we only did PT and boot camp.
They added several different things to it. There's a shuttle run where you're doing kettlebells and running sideways. Really? Oh man, it got exhaustive. The idea behind it, though, like the kettlebells, when you're running with those, that's supposed to simulate running on the battlefield carrying ammo.
You're running with kettlebells?
Yeah.
As
25 meters down, test. 25 meters back, and that's one of the 5 things that you do on that 25-meter lane.
Really?
You have to run sideways, like a sideways shuffle. You have to do a straight-out sprint. You have to...
that sounds like a good way to screw up your knees.
Oh, you have to drag 90 pounds. There's a sled drag carry. Yeah, when you get a chance, look up ACFT. So the new Army ACFT, and they keep changing it because they went from like a tuck and hang. Some people couldn't do that, so they did allow plank, where you had to do a plank for like 2 minutes or whatever it is an alternate to that.
I thought that the military was dumbing our people down and making them weaker. But it sounds like what you're telling me is no, that's really not the case.
Well, so the ACFT, they had been rolling it out for 3 or 4 years. And then, zombie apocalypse happened. So that monkey wrenched everything and slowed it down, right? We're all going to die. So that slowed it down. And they keep revising it because it was either too hard or too easy. They didn't have it separated by gender at one point or by age brackets like the old one. Yeah, so they keep going back and forth, tweaking it. I don't know where it stands now because there have been so many iterations of it, but I think it's actually going to go by MOS, maybe
that's
by gender.
hilarious. Wait, hold on. They're going to go by MOS.
Yeah, because
that's
combat
bullshit.
Arms.
Why shouldn't they make it equal across the board?
No, combat arms has to be way more fit than combat service support. That's the reality.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that at all.
I agree with that.
My PT test, I'm sorry, I think that's bullshit. Everybody, I don't care if you're pushing a pen or if you're humping, you bullshit. So the guy or gal behind me that gets sent to a conflict and they happen to have to pick up and bear arms, they didn't have to go through the same rigorous monthly or that's bullshit. Why should they be as physically fit as me? That's horseshit. I'm sorry. Have I repeated myself enough? That's horseshit.
Well, hold on. Wait. So, like in the Navy, I'm going to be honest with you. When we first got females on board the ship, us guys didn't really know how to take females on board ship because we didn't have them on there and everything. But some of them females we got on board the ship could kick my ass. And so, it's true. I'm telling you, there was like a couple of them. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
No. We had some amazing, we had some amazing physically fit women when I was in the military. I mean, in this notion of you don't have to, different MOS requires different physicalities. I'm like, really? Really?
See, I only remember, I think I may have done, I think I had to do one PT test or something, while I was in after boot camp. And it's run a mile and then I think that's all I did was run a mile.
Only a mile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But John, do you want to know how fast I could run a mile?
Tell me.
4 minutes and 45 seconds. I was very fast.
Of course, because you don't have to hold back any energy for the second mile.
I'm going to tell you something right now. I would have made a good grunt on the front lines because I could run.
That second mile will kick your ass.
And I would have been running backwards, not towards it. I've been running backwards.
This whole notion, it sounds like, Erin, as you're explaining, different quality of fitness based off your MO. It sounds like the military is getting awful touchy-feely.
So, John, I love your reaction, by the way, because I hadn't really thought of it your way. So I'll kind of explain it from the other side. Not saying I'm right, not saying they're right. Although your reaction is priceless because you're like, what the hell? Because you're talking like a guy from our generation going, what is this watered down bullshit? But the reality is, what year did you ETS?
I ETS in 94? 94. Yeah, so, 94.
Okay, so since you got out, Al Gore invented the internet, okay? And we've got one MOS because I was a 25 uniform. I was signal, but I wasn't the super nerdy kind of signal, okay? But so I was 25 uniform, 25 Bravo. Now, I did know a couple of cool ones Barry, if you're watching this, I've got you, man. You're definitely not one of these guys. So a lot of these other guys, these 25 Bravos, they're the networking guys. Super nerdy. They could hack into a bank, get you $1 million, probably can't do 3 push-ups. They've got the noodle arms, they're gamers in their mother's basement all day, but the Army needs 25 Bravos because you need somebody to set up your network so you have connectivity. So part of the reason they have different standards for different MOSs is so that you're not telling a segment of the population, you're just too weak and out of shape to join, because they might have skill sets that are valuable.
That's bullshit.
I agree, John. I do agree.
All right, Aaron, I think that's
but
bullshit.
we really do need the technology these days, because can you imagine any of our asses going up, setting up comms and setting up with the internet out there? They'd be like, Simon, it's been 6 months we've been at war and you can't even hook up the Wi-Fi. I'm like, what's Wi-Fi?
My argument is, if my backyard today as we speak becomes a battlefield, because you don't know where the fuck shit's going to happen at, that son of a bitch, that geek in the basement better be able to pick up sidearm and better be able to run out to my happy ass and not lugging around 350, pressing out his fucking uniform because he can't fucking keep his breath.
John, you're going to have a heart attack. You're going to have a heart attack. Look, man. Them are the guys that are going to call in the backup for you on the computer. That's what he's saying.
I don't care. They still
That's
need to be
my
kind
of guy. I want the guy that can't do 3 push-ups, calling 1,000 men to come let me run behind them. That's my kind of guy.
I want, as far as the physicality goes, we were called out to formation every morning. Now, in today's society, let's go outside of the military.
Okay.
If you have a police officer comes to your house and they're a very heavy set officer and they need to come in and help out somebody and they're huffing and puffing and they're all in shape, what good if they can't do their job?
Because I'll be behind them while they get shot.
My point is,
you got to think outside the box.
I can think outside the box, but God bless America. Everybody needs to be in the same sheet of music as far as physical fitness. Why should we reinvent the freaking wheel because of an MOS?
Okay, well, but look at it like this. we're going to be known really as the last generation to have the 80s, the best part of the world, because we could ride our bikes, had to come in at when the light came on outside and left when the light went off, and we drank out of a water hose, and we did all this stuff, right? Okay, we did all this great stuff. We didn't have mom and dad watch us in the front yard ride our bikes only on the driveway because a predator was going to take you back and forth. So this is how I'm kind of looking at it right now. As a military standpoint, why did we need to change what was working like it was in the 80s to think we made it better, but we only weakened it? We weakened America, we weakened our armed forces, and we're weakening our minds.
I understand technology changes and we need to adjust to technology. I get that. But as far as the human being, I even know, they're coming out with, robots that can run in, and take the shots, and think for themselves and so on and so forth. That's that's happening now. It's not, at least in the vast majority of the military, I'm sure in some special forces units, they have robots and things like that. But I'm just, I know when they say, Sergeant Schmidt, I need, if I need one of my soldiers to go from point A to point B, and I don't care if it's a man or woman, hey, grab that 60 crab, grab that 50 cal, follow me, do this, do that. I need you to keep up with my happy ass, and don't sit there and question me. Go do. I know things are going to
Did you
change.
bring up
I know
your
things
ass?
are different today than they were in the 80s.
Did you bring
Say
up
again?
your ass?
I said my happy ass. I was
It
joking.
doesn't matter. That's my line. I get to say the ass stuff, John. It's nice to finally hear you. Finally, look, I'm breaking them, Aaron. I'm breaking them.
Hey, John's just trying to be inclusive and shit.
I'm telling you. But John's right. Going into the military, you need to have the stamina. You need to.
Well,
I mean, the stamina. But to me, one of the biggest things, you need to have the love for this country and the Constitution.
and not enough people do. They can't hit their numbers now.
I know.
Oh
Look
yeah,
at it.
that is unfortunate, isn't it? People don't want to go in.
Well,
You know?
it's very predictable. It's very predictable. We all know why nobody wants to join.
Well, right. Bud Light.
I mean, even 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I would have told people all day long, join. It's a good way to get a start in life. Now, I'd tell them, no, don't bother.
Well, but the other reason is too, like one of the reasons I would tell my kids no is because look what they did to us. Look what they did to us and how they don't care. That's how I feel about it now. I feel about it. Go ahead.
By 2008, they had passed legislation where we had informed consent. So a lot of the stuff that we took in 91, we didn't have any say. So 2008, they finally passed legislation because of what happened to us, which kind of went out the window, where we can never be forced to take anything not FDA approved.
Right.
Now, the workaround on that is
Emergency.
you squeeze the FDA's balls hard enough, you tell them you rubber stamp this new shit, and they do. And I think everybody knows what I'm alluding to there.
Right.
So,
and it's true. You're right. 110%. You
so they
are
tried
correct.
to protect us, and these Marxists tried to unprotect us. So we all know what kind of bullshit's going on, and that's why it's not what we went through. It's the fact that some of the safeguards after what we went through just got thrown out the damn window. That's why I would tell somebody not to join.
Yeah, I mean, correct. And that's right. I mean, that's I want to know that when I send my child, my son, off to or my daughter, send them off to a war, they're not going to come back broken like I was.
Well, and they very well might, but
I'm talking about broken. I'm not talking about.
It shouldn't be a result of bad policies on our side. You know, there are lots of guys that got, they had a rough time, OIF, OEF, getting half blown up by the IEDs, but that's from the enemy. Our own side shouldn't be pissing on our people.
Exactly. 100. There you go.
Well, and if you have a good chain of command, and they're not, let's be honest here. Not everybody has the best chain of command because we're all different people, and it depends on the people's mindset. I had some shitty leaders. I mean, the vast majority of all experienced people that we weren't happy with. But unfortunately, I say unfortunate, it is what it is. But it's a rank structure, and it's a rank structure for a reason. I tell you to fucking jump, and I don't need you to sit there and question me. There is a time for a discussion, and there's other times I told you fucking move your ass, move, and that's the end of it, but that's not always the circumstance. And today's touchy-feely world is a bastard. It's
John, it got way worse after 2020 because for a while we weren't even allowed to assemble. And then when we did, we had to do, I don't know, so many hoops to jump through, right? And then when you tell somebody, hey, you need to get your ass over here. Well, I feel unsafe.
Are you kidding me?
2020 just destroyed
it did.
any semblance
it broke us. It broke
of military discipline.
Yes.
Believe me.
They said they got away with it.
Well,
yeah, because
I mean,
I'm a company first sergeant at the time, and I'm like, I had to check myself a few times because I'm old fashioned. And thankfully, I had a great AGR S1 who was also a platoon sergeant. She was actually almost my age, and she was sharp. And I'd go over to her and go, "Hey, Sergeant T, what the hell?" And she goes, "Yeah, you better just walk away for a sergeant." I'm like, "Holy shit!"
That's it right
They've
there.
turned us into bitches. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you talk about bad leadership at a strategic level. It's bad. Okay, it's not just tactical level where you might have a shitty company commander or a shitty battalion commander. I'm telling you, it's rare to see a full bird, and definitely nobody wearing a star did anything to prevent this bullshit. Okay, they let us just go offline for 2 years. We're wearing our little bitch mask while wearing green, trying to pretend we're the toughest military in the world. And it's like, I'm not buying it, guys. And either our enemies. They see all these pictures of us outdoors in formation, wearing the little fucking training burqas, and our enemies are laughing at us right now. And when they invade other countries, we did this through this kind of imagery.
I'm just, what's going on. I mean, this is a little bit off subject, but what's going on in our world now? I
worry about it.
Say again.
I worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so now the next presidential thing, regardless of what side of the what side of the fence one might be in the political game, I'm really kind of nervous of what's going on in the Ukraine because things are just and probably under our noses. When I say under our noses, we're not in the. I mean, if now Erin, you might have or Kevin, you might have some people have further information that can tell you what's really going on in Ukraine. But that's going to be. That could go bad in like a drop of a hat.
Well,
I'm so pissed off about all the money laundering. I don't give a shit what's going on in Ukraine. Quit pissing our money away over there.
I mean, one thing about it, what New York City kicked out all the veterans out of the hotel that were there for getting over PTSD and trying to get their lives back. They were homeless vets to take in the migrants, and our guys got put out on the street. This
Kevin,
stuff
I think
needs
the
to
word you're
stop.
looking for is illegal.
Right,
that's right. When did this take place?
That about a month and a half ago, I think it was around that time.
They were talking about it this week.
Yes.
It was big news.
They kicked out a bunch of vets out of a hotel.
Homeless vets that were trying to get their lives straight. Yes, and I'm just like, wait a second. How does this happen? How did we get here? But what we're going to do right now is we're going to go into the after the show, and we're going to go ahead and sign off. I'm going to thank everybody for listening, and stay with us, Erin, because we're going to go into our show, and we're going to get more into this, man. Yeah. Y'all have a great night. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening to Go For Side Effects. If you have a story or you would like to share or just come on with any comments or questions, please email me at kevinsimon@goforsideeffects.com.